NFL is officially over, and it is time to overreact. Yes, your 1-0 team is heading to the Super Bowl. Your 0-1 team, time to burn it down and rebuild for next year. Now, I'm half joking. That's how some of us felt after our Week 1 performances by our favorite NFL teams. Man, some of y'all have it good out there. But welcome in to another edition of your favorite podcast, Burgers and Brats. Had a super exciting week 1. Week 2 is just underway. Thursday Night Football, Bills and Dolphins. Bills currently smacking the Dolphins. Week 2 in the college football is through as well. So heading into week 3, some more action-packed games. And we got the Procore Championship in golf and the MLB season. We're entering October almost. We're almost there. So stay tuned. Make sure to follow the podcast on any platform, any streaming service, literally anywhere. Get your podcast at Burgers and Brats. Stay up to date with latest news on Twitter, Instagram, and hopefully you're watching live on YouTube and millions.co at Burgers and Brats. And check out the podcast website, burgersbratspodcast.com. So, there's just been so much going on. Let's start in college football, though. What an interesting Saturday it was. We had Texas put the beat down on the Big Blue Michigan Wolverines. Northern Illinois heads to Notre Dame and smacks Notre Dame. Absolutely insane. NIU getting a 16-14 win over number 5 Notre Dame and touchdown Jesus. So what I've kind of noticed in college football is there's a whole lot of mid. Now, I don't think it's just parity. Everyone's good. I just think it's a whole lot of mid. Alabama, that final score, don't let it fool you. They were down in the fourth quarter to USF. So, Bama did not look good at all. They're still a top team. Oregon, I told you guys that should have been my lock of the week. But I knew Oregon was not going to blow out Boise State by 20. They ended up winning on a last-second field goal. I knew that game was going to be close, and I thought Boise State could win that one. Colorado looks awful. I'm off that train. I'm done. Stay away from Colorado, guys. Do not bet on them. Don't even think about them. They will let you down. So, Nebraska back on track. They get a big win over Colorado. Tennessee looks really good. They beat a top 25 team, NC State. And otherwise, not a whole lot of great games in this week 3 action. Not great either. We don't get much. We get one top 25 matchup, and it's a Friday night game, and it's two Big 12 teams, but it doesn't even count as a Big 12 conference game because this was scheduled a few years ago. But Friday night is our only top 25 matchup. So hopefully, maybe this is the weekend for those weddings and to find something else. That yard work, get it done. This is the weekend because not going to be much great football, but I think it's a whole lot of mid. Some teams that are in trouble for this week. I'll be talking a little bit about a few of these teams, but some teams that are in trouble. I think LSU could be in trouble. They've got game day at South Carolina. Bama could be in trouble versus Wisconsin this weekend. Missouri versus Boston College. That is a top 25 matchup this week. I think one of only 2 top 25 matchups, Missouri and Boston College. And then Oklahoma versus Tulane could be messy there. So, few teams in trouble for week 3, but otherwise not a great slate at all. So, go find something to do with your kids. Tell the wife, hey, honey, I'm going to sacrifice my college football Saturday for you. Go say it to them. You don't have to tell her the games. There aren't any, but play that card. The good games are early, so nothing great late also. But let's go into some picks. Also, Penn State didn't look good against Bowling Green State. They won by a touchdown, but I think we're down most of that game. So there's a whole lot of mid in college football, and that needs to be addressed. And it's hard to rank these AP polls because I think there are 2 really good teams, Georgia, Texas, and I'll put Ohio State in that category, but I still need to see more from them. Otherwise, anyone else can just get beat by a group of 5 team. That's how bad it is out there. But let's go into the week 3 picks. And let's start with Friday night, our lone top 25 matchup. Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Should be really, really good. It's a great, technically not an opening matchup for the Big 12, but great teams facing off here. Arizona's offense with Noah Fatita and wide receiver McMillan absolutely balled week 1. He had 10 receptions for 4 touchdowns and 304 yards week 1. Fafita balled out over 300 some odd yards in week 1. But then week 2 kind of fell apart. Fafita only had 172 yards in week 2, and McMillan had 2 receptions for 11 yards. And it's not like it was against a tough opponent, so that kind of does scare you a little bit, especially heading to the Little Apple in Manhattan, Kansas. Arizona, though, has won 5 straight versus ranked opponents. They haven't really faced a team like Kansas State, those corn-fed Kansans over here, but they also got to worry about their defense. Arizona gave up 39 points in week 1, and then only won 22-10 over that Northern Arizona team where I said they did not play good at all. Kansas State showed some resiliency, down 10 at halftime at Tulane last week. End up getting a fumble return touchdown late in the fourth quarter, just put them on top, and they did not look back. So Kansas State down early, tested, and can prove that they can make a comeback and on the road. Don't have to worry about that yet. Thought Kansas State quarterback Avery Johnson would be able to run the ball a little more. He's only had 11 rushing attempts so far. Expect them kind of to open that up a little more. He's really dangerous on his legs. Not super great through the air, but can run the ball. Arizona 0-10 on third down last week against a Northern Arizona team. Yikes. Not good. Both score over 37 points per game. It is going to be an offensive battle. I like Arizona to cover in this game. I think Kansas State gets the win, 31-28 over Arizona, and technically not a Big 12 game, but it should be a lot of fun. Probably the best game of the weekend. All right, let's go to Tulane at Oklahoma Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. OU number 15 in the country. They are a 13-point favorite in this one. Now, when's the last time we said that Oklahoma has been getting bailed out by their defense? It's been over a decade for that. It's all defense and no offense for Oklahoma. One of the worst teams actually in the country in total offense, especially with their redshirt sophomore quarterback Jackson Arnold. OU was outgained last week with only 249 rushing yards, or 209 total yards on offense against this Houston team. Quarterback Darren Mensah from Tulane, 342 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 2 turnovers last week against Kansas State, and that was a big reason they lost. If he doesn't turn the ball over, Tulane gets a win, and they are looking pretty and probably in the top 25, maybe top 20 with a win last week, and this is a phenomenal matchup then. OU does lead the FBS in forced turnovers with 8 total takeaways on the season, so look for that. Put some pressure. Great defense line for OU. Great secondary, so if they get some turnovers, this one could be put down early because Oklahoma has to get off to a fast start. Tulane is used to that. OU, get your quarterback in rhythm. Jackson Arnold, get him throwing the ball deep. Get him in rhythm. No little slant outs. Run the ball, too. You got to pound the rock. Not great in defense, and you're going against a Tulane team that is 94th in rush defense. So got to get the ground game going early, wear out that Tulane defense, and that will help your quarterback get some open guys as well. Mensa could attack this OU defense, but they're pretty solid back there. OU is a better team than shown. They do have more dogs than Tulane. It is a home game for OU. I think OU kind of shows that. I think they've kind of been hiding some plays, not going full-blown in their offensive scheme. So I'm going to trust my instincts there and say Oklahoma's just not letting it all out yet. You had 2 weak opponents. I didn't want to show much. Now you can open it up. Give me OU 35-21 over Tulane. All right, now Bama at Wisconsin. This was going to be a really good matchup before the season started. We thought definitely a top 25, maybe a top 20 matchup by the time this game got here. No. 12 p.m. Fox, 12 p.m. on Fox, big noon kickoff. Number 4 Bama at Wisconsin. Bama a 16-point favorite in this one at Madison. Bama did struggle heavily with USF. No repercussions. Stayed number 4 in the country, which, like I said, there's nobody that could jump them there. There not many great teams. But, of course, it's Bama, so nothing can happen to them. Jalen Milroe does look a lot better. He's already got 9 total touchdowns with 4 through the ground, so 5 in the air. He's only got 22 attempts on the ground as well, so not much, and he's got 4 touchdowns to show for it. And no, last year he ran the ball a lot during the year, and probably expect to see him use his legs this week as well. Last week he had 11 yards per throw, that is a lot of yards. So I don't think this Wisconsin defense will be able to stop this Alabama offense. Maybe USF did it last week, but they're going to try and at least keep their offense on the field, pounding the rock. Let Tyler Van Dyke get some short little passes, keep the ball moving, keep the game clock going. He's 60% on the season, but only 1 touchdown on the year. They are averaging 27 points per game, though, at Wisconsin. Bama averaging 52 points per game on that end and 264 rushing yards per game. Bama, I mean, you got the running backs, you got your quarterback, you got everything. It's still Alabama, guys. I know Colin DeBoer is not Nick Saban, but it's still Alabama. You still have these great recruits and players. Wisconsin literally just needs any kind of ball movement. Bama's a top 25 offense and defense. Wisconsin defense needs to be light out. You got to get forced turnovers versus Milroe. Don't let him use his legs to extend those plays and extend those drives. The offense, Wisconsin, only 2 touchdown wins over their first 2 opponents. So they've only won by 13-14 against their first 2 opponents, and they weren't great opponents. So Wisconsin can keep it close with Luke Fickell. I do like Luke Fickell as a head coach. But Bama got to start better than last week, obviously. I'm still leaning, and the stats are still leaning with Alabama. I'm taking Bama 35-20. Do think Wisconsin covers in this one, though. All right, let's go to our final game of the Week 3 slate, and that is game day and prime time, or actually not prime time, 11 a.m. kick. So game day, 11 a.m. kick, 12 p.m. Eastern on ABC, number 16 LSU at Southern Carolina. LSU a 7-point favorite in this one. Tough SEC matchup. Really, both teams kind of good and bad. South Carolina had a 4-point win over Old Dominion on their first week, and then just pounded Kentucky on the road last week. So who knows, man? Who knows? This is Nussmeier's first true road game start for LSU at quarterback. South Carolina has lost the last 7 versus LSU. And their quarterback Sellers is only 21 of 38 on the season with 273 total yards. So they're not letting them throw the ball much, and you gotta just keep the drives going, the ball moving against this LSU team, where it is a pretty good LSU offense versus a pretty good USC defense. It's not a night game at South Carolina. That helps. Let Sanders pound the rock for the Gamecocks, and I think you can keep it close. I think it can be closer than 7 points, but I think it can also get pretty ugly. LSU's got more dogs. Brian Kelly, better head coach, at least most days. So I do lean LSU getting the win 27-23 over the Gamecocks. So that's my picks for the week. Lock of the week, I'll go Arizona +7 versus Kansas State. See if that's +7 or so +7 on that game. So that's my college football picks. Let me know your thoughts on week 2 of action and your week 3 predictions as well. All right, let's go into On This Day in History, sponsored by Hefner Eye Care, located in Oklahoma City, or you can check them out on the web at hefnereyecare.com. 1987. Can y'all name this famous sports moment? Cal Ripken Jr.'s streak of 8,243 consecutive innings, or also known as 908 straight games of playing, was finally broken. 908 straight games. 8,000 consecutive innings. That's a long, long time. Wow. 1814, Francis Scott Key pins what is now known, or now called, the Star-Spangled Banner while witnessing the bombardment of Fort McHenry. I've been there. Pretty cool sight. And then 1969, baby. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Debuts by Hanna-Barbera. So that's my favorite cartoon of all time, man. Shout out to Hanna-Barbera on that one. 1969, Scooby-Doo debuts. So awesome there. And happy birthday, Sam Neill and Amy Winehouse. So that's On This Day in History. Sponsored by Hefner Eye Care. All right, let's talk a little Procore Championship real quick. Let's see what's going on in Napa, California. Not too many big names, but we do have a few. David Lipsky is leading after round one. Mark Hubbard tied for fourth at 5 under. Joel Damon also at 5 under on this one. Andrew Putnam 4 under. Some other big names we got here: Tom Hoagie, Sahith Thagala, Lucas Glover, all at 3 under. As well as JJ Spawn, Matt Kuchar at 2 under. I mean, I would love to be playing golf in Napa right now. That sounds absolutely perfect. Max Homa and Stuart Sink at 1 under. Michael Kim as well. Webb Simpson as well. So, I mean, still some big names in this tournament. Who wouldn't turn this down going to Napa? So, still some big names. I think Max Homa, obviously, is a big name that can get back to the top of the leaderboard there. Max Homa, JJ Spawn plays really good golf. I think he can also advance up there. Webb Simpson in a good spot as well, but you do have to make a lot of strokes. I mean, 7 under, leader for the day with Lipsky. Martin Laird is at 6 under, as well as Patton Kaiser. So those guys playing some good golf. We'll see if they hold. Mark Hubbard, probably the most known at the top right there at 5 under. Definitely think he's in a great position. Andrew Putnam as well. So, and then Neil Shipley, the amateur, at 4 under. He's playing some really good golf. Can see him making a run. But I do like Thagala, Hoagie, and Lucas Glover, and JJ Spawn, and of course Max Homa, kind of getting into that top 10 spots towards the end of towards Sunday. So, man, I would love to play. I don't know if you've seen pictures, but that sounds perfect to play at Napa, at the North Course. So, exciting watching the Procore Championship this weekend. All right, let's go into the NFL. After what I saw this week, rookie quarterbacks, a lot of them. There were a ton. And a lot of young quarterbacks playing with new teams. Whole lot of mid, but that's to be expected. These quarterbacks are coming in, they're making their first start. It's not going to be sunshine and rainbows, that first start. It's going to take time. It's going to take a few games, maybe more than a few games. So be patient. Don't have to burn it down again. You can keep building on their starts and how they play. So you don't need to get a first-round quarterback next year. Just unless you're the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young. Might be time to burn that one down. That may be the exception. But otherwise, take a chill pill. Week 1, give it a few weeks, and then draw your conclusions from that. But Cowboys, I know I make fun of y'all saying it's your year every year. It's y'all's year, man. It's the Cowboys' year. We them boys, baby. Come on now. No, I'm not. It could be. I'm not going to officially say the Cowboys are winning the Super Bowl, but I see it happening. That was lock of the week last week. What'd I say? Cowboys not favored going against a terrible quarterback in Deshaun Watson? Easy. Slim pickings. That was going to be easy money. So, should have bet my mortgage on the Cowboys money line on that one. So, but, oh well. Bryce Love, sucks to see him get injured for a few weeks last Thursday or Friday versus the Eagles, but hopefully he comes back. He was playing really good, so stinks to see for the Packers. Chiefs versus Ravens, phenomenal Thursday night game. I do think that is probably going to be the AFC Championship game. I can definitely see that happening. Those are two really good teams. The Buffalo Bills, I thought last year was the last year they could win a Super Bowl. They traded Gabe Davis. They traded Stephon Diggs. They still look really good. Beat a good Arizona team, and they are stomping the Miami Dolphins right now on Thursday Night Football. So the Bills look really, really good still. Baker and the Bucks. That is a dangerously underrated team. They woke up feeling dangerous. That is an underrated team right there. Watch out for the Bucks. Mike Evans. That could be pretty good. They got a few additions, getting a little more time together. So watch that. CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson. That is going to be a fun quarterback battle to watch for the next, hopefully, decade or more. And they are playing in the same division. So that's going to be fun. I mean, that's Peyton Manning, Tom Brady right there. That could be. It could be. So a lot of fun in the NFL. Last week, Rams versus Lions gave us another great thriller. So awesome stuff from week one, and expect that in week two. My power rankings after week one, obviously I'm going to put the Kansas City Chiefs in number one. Number two, the 49ers, even without Christian McCaffrey, which I picked number one in fantasy football. I guess I should not have done that. Why couldn't I have just gotten the second pick? Jeez. Oh, well. Number three, I got the Lions. Four, I could go Philly or Dallas here, but I picked Philly to win the division, so I'm going Philly right now. Number five, I'm going Dallas. Six, I know they lost, but I'm still going to go Baltimore. I was on the road. Could have gone to overtime. Should have gone to overtime, and they could have won that game and easily be at number one in this one. Houston at number seven. Number eight, I got the Bills. Nine, I got the Miami Dolphins. Now, this is before Thursday Night Football. They're going to drop out of the top 10 after this, but before Thursday night. And the number 10, I got the Buccaneers. I think they look really good on offense. Baker Mayfield led the league in passer rating after week one. So that's my top 10 in the NFL power rankings. All right, let's go into my picks for the week. Bucks at Lions. Lions 7-point favorites in this one. Last year's divisional round rematch. Like I said, Baker Mayfield, the best passer rating in week one. 4 touchdowns. Looked phenomenal. Both offenses humming in this one. Detroit is the 4th team ever to open the season with 2 straight playoff rematches. Yeah, that's tough. But they do get them at home. And if the Lions start 2-0 and at least look really good against the Bucks this week, there's going to be a lot of praise. There's going to be a lot of feelings of, okay, this Lions team can definitely make it to a Super Bowl. I mean, they were a couple plays away from going to the Super Bowl last year, and they can definitely make it this next year if they look really good 2-0. Bucks, this team looks even better than when they last met. This Lions team also added key pieces on defense, which they needed. It was not great on defense. Neither team was great on defense last year. It's been 1 week, but Detroit is 32nd in pass defense. Again, Matt Stafford put up 317 yards last week. So, but Baker Mayfield may be putting up some yards this week against the Lions. Both are high-powered offense. They've got a lot of weapons. I expect a high-powered offensive game. Can any of them get a run game going? Slow down these offenses, give their defense a breather. We'll see, and I think the team that does that can win this game. I really do think Baker and the Bucks can make an upset. This game is going to be closer than 7 points. I'd bet heavily on the Bucks plus 7, but I'm going to go Detroit winning the game 27-26 but I think this game will be super close. I see the Buccaneers winning this one. All right, NFC West divisional matchup. Getting a divisional matchup already. The Rams at the Cardinals. And this one is a 1-point game. Cardinals favored by 1 in this game. It's kind of weird because watching the Lions-Rams game, we're like, okay, this Rams team's awesome. They're high-powered offense. Matt Stafford looks phenomenal. He's got 317 yards. They only put up 20 points in this game. And if you look on the other side, Arizona, they were up 17-3, I believe, on the Bills, and it just went kind of downhill. But they still put up 28 points on a really good Bills team, and people are like, oh, this offense looked terrible. Kyler Murray only had 162 yards. He had 57 rushing yards. And Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't get the ball at all. But they still put up a lot of points. So both have really good offenses. No Puka Nacua, though. He's going to go on the IR, so he'll miss at least 4 games. Cooper Kupp back where he left off, 14 receptions for 110 yards. Like I said, Marvin Harrison Jr. only 1 target, 1 catch. So got to find him early. He is a difference maker. You took him early for a reason. Fourth pick overall last year. Use him. Like I said, K1 played pretty good, at least in the first half. Kind of struggled the second half. Run the ball. Opposite for LA, though. See what Matt Stafford can do. He put out that many yards last week. See if he can do it again. Establish a run game, though. 83 yards. 83 yards last week. K1, use your legs. And Rams have to stop Kyler from using his legs. That's how they extend these drives. That's how they score these points, because this man can run. He can escape anything in the pocket, out of the pocket. Air it out. This game is going to be awesome. This is going to be a fun game to watch. A little divisional round. Set the tone early. And I've got the Cards winning by 1 point, 24-23 over the Rams. This is going to be a lot of fireworks in this one. Bengals at Chiefs, Arrowhead Stadium. Chiefs 6-point favorites in this one. Joe Burrow and the Bengals did not look good at all week 1, losing to a really bad New England Patriots team. Looked really bad. Joe Burrow, 164 yards, 0 touchdowns. Patriots did whatever they wanted with them. See if Joe Burrow is still dealing with that wrist injury. Jamar Chase was a non-factor in this one. Got to get him the ball as well. But it's this thing. The Bengals always start slow every single year. Every year. And then they pick it up, and you're like, okay, this team is about to win the Super Bowl. And a team that can win the Super Bowl and has won it for 2 years straight, Kansas City Chiefs. And they can probably go three-peat in this one this season. So they look really good with Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Patrick Mahomes, of course, and no Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce didn't do anything last week, and they still got the win over a really good Patriots team. And not to mention, they also get a week and a half of rest before playing this game. Bengals do always play the Chiefs close. This game's always close. Cincinnati lost a lot of guys. No Joe Mixon this year, so lost a big time proponent of their run game, a big time proponent of their identity. Isaiah Pacheco, though, he only had 45 yards on 15 attempts, which was 3 yards per carry, so neither team great at running the football. You don't really need to be with these 2-star quarterbacks. But Kansas City gave up 452 total yards last week. This is a get-right game for the Bengals. I mean, got to get some kind of offense. Got to get more than 164 passing yards for Joe Burrow. If it goes 0-2 in this one, it looks bad. Zach Taylor could be in trouble in Cincinnati, but they get the big win. It's going to be looking nice. They are going to be feeling a lot better about themselves, and they are going to be starting off better than they usually do to start a season. It's one of the worst defenses in the league and one of the worst offenses in the league, but it's only been week 1, so don't overreact, and you can't tell much from that. Huge game, huge season implications. I think Kansas City wins this one 30-20 over the Bengals. All right, let's go into Sunday Night Football. The Bears at Texans. Texans 6.5-point favorites in this one. Caleb Williams versus C.J. Stroud. Now, if this was week 1, I would be so pumped for this matchup watching these two quarterbacks. But now I'm like, I don't really care to see Caleb anymore. Did not look good at all last week. I mean, they were down 17-0, somehow won without scoring an offensive touchdown, and Caleb Williams had 93 total passing yards, 14 of 29 for 93 yards. My goodness. CJ Stroud, on the other hand, balled out, man. 2 touchdowns, 234 yards. Found his new receiver, Stephon Diggs, in the end zone for those 2 touchdowns. It was a shootout win over Indiana in week 1, so defense has to get more stops, and I feel like they can against this young Chicago team that is not going to have Rome Odunze or Keenan Allen, more than likely. Definitely not Odunze. And like I mentioned in the last pick, Joe Mixon, the leading rusher in the NFL right now. He had 30 attempts for 159 total yards last week. They relied on him. He carried the rock the entire game. Also had a touchdown. So defense needs to be a little better. Expect them to kind of run the ball even more. And I feel like this defense can shut down Chicago unless Caleb Williams turns into Heisman winning trophy Caleb Williams. So is the Chicago defense legit? I don't know. It was against Will Levis in Tennessee. Don't know if it's legit yet. So we'll see after this week. And if they can be legit and Caleb Williams can develop and get those few games under his belt, the Chicago team could be pretty good and make a run at the division, especially with Bryce Love being injured, but still have to go through the Lions. So get Caleb another week under his belt. See how good this defense is in Chicago. I do think the offensive power for the Houston Texans is too much for Chicago. So give me Houston 28-13 over the Bears on Sunday Night Football. All right, that's my week 2 picks in the NFL. Let me know your picks for this week. Should be a really fun week as well. So exciting time for it. All right, let's go into my final segment, who I'm sharing my burger and brat with. Share my burger and brat with the man who was paid $7,000 for his first major role in 1977 Star Wars. James Earl Jones died this past week at 93 years old, and he was one of only a few ever to earn the EGOT, and that is an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony. So earned all of those, one of the only lucky ones to ever live and win all of those awards. Most known for his role, of course, with Darth Vader, who debuted in 1977 Star Wars, where he only got paid $7,000 to voice Darth Vader. He was also Mufasa in The Lion King. He was in Field of Dreams, King Joffrey, and Coming to America. He was in Sandlot. He was also in Doctor Strangelove, old classic as well, and just so many other shows, movies, and musicals. So, share my burger and brat with James Earl Jones, an absolute legend in the acting community that died, and just a great human that passed away this past week. So, share my burger and brat with him. Let me know your guys' favorite movie from James Earl Jones, which one you loved the most. So, thank you all for listening. Make sure to follow the podcast on any platform, any streaming service, literally anywhere. You get your podcast at Burgers and Brats, and stay up to date with latest news on Twitter, Instagram, and hopefully just watch on YouTube and millions.co at Burgers and Brats, and check out the podcast website, burgersbratspodcast.com. Thank you all for listening. Take care. Stay safe.